Warning: please seek professional advice before commencing any exercise program. If you feel dizzy, unwell, or any discomfort during this film, stop immediately and seek advice from a medical professional or a qualified Pilates instructor.
Hello everyone and welcome to Align Pilates. Today we're going to do a cardio workout on the C2 PRO wood look reformer. We're going to use the jump board today and we just want to make sure that you've put it in correctly and that you have secured it with the knobs that are underneath the reformer and turned them tightly in a clockwise direction so that they are secure with the board. So let's get started with some footwork to warm ourselves up. So I'll just get Mel to lay down on the reformer on her back. We've attached 2 red springs to do today's workout to start with. So I'm just going to get her to put her feet parallel on the board, a hip width distance apart. So from here we're just going to push away, keeping our feet connected to the board and coming all the way back in. And we're going to push away and come all the way back in. So we're concentrating here as we're doing this on our connection to our core. So we're pulling in through the belly as we push out and we're breathing out to go out and we're breathing in to come all the way back in. So 2 more. Our tailbone is heavy on the carriage, last one, and come all the way back in. We're going to move our feet now to a Pilates position, so our heels are going to be together and our feet are going to be wide, and we're going to push away again. Thinking about connecting through the sole of the foot as we push away. Good, and back in. So we're squeezing our heels together and we're zipping up the inner thighs, connecting to the pelvic floor, pulling in through our belly as we breathe out to go out and breathe in to come in. We've got 2 more. Beautiful work, Mel, and come all the way back in. So from here we're going to come back to parallel and we're going to do prancing. So we're going to come up onto our toes and we're going to push out all the way out. Good, and then we're going to drop the heel of one down to the board and bend the knee on the other foot. And then we're going to swap to the other side. Good. So as we're doing this, we're connecting the toes to the ball of the foot, down to the heel. So we're articulating the foot all the way down. Still thinking about stretching out through the leg as we're doing that. Concentrating on keeping our core centered and solid throughout the whole process. And we've got 2 more on each side. Last one. Good, and we'll bend our knees and come all the way back in. So now we're going to start with our jumping workout. So legs are going to be in parallel, a hip width distance apart. From here we're going to get some air between our feet and the rest of our body. When you're ready, you're going to jump away and extend the legs long and then land on the board. We want to still keep thinking about articulating that foot as we're landing. So toes, arch of the foot, and then down onto the heels. Beautiful, Mel. We still want to make sure that our core is solid as we're pushing out there. We're still pulling in through our belly and we're not arching into our back. We've got 1 more to go here and we're going to have a rest. Now I'm going to go back to our Pilates V. So our heels are going to be together, our feet are going to be out wide. From here we're going to jump away and we're going to keep our heels connected as much as we can in mid-air. Beautiful, Mel. So as we're keeping those heels connected, we're squeezing them together, connecting up through the inner thigh, pulling up through the pelvic floor and into our core. So we're really working hard to try and maintain that core while we are suspended. We've got 1 more to go and come in and have a rest. Beautiful. We're going to now go parallel jumping again, but we're going to go a bit wider than our hip width, so almost about the width of the board. Okay, it's almost like a squat but laying down. So from here we're going to jump away and we're going to keep landing on the outside of the board. So again, you want to think about articulating through the foot and really think about the connection between the hips and the feet as we're landing on the outside of the board. You can see that Mel's working really hard as she's pulling through her core to try and suspend her body while her legs are out wide. We've got 3 more. And last one. And we're going to come all the way back in and have a rest. So now I thought we'd do a little bit of a combination just to spice stuff up. So we're going to go with parallel hip width distance apart to start with, and we're going to jump away in that orientation. And when we land, we're going to land with our feet wide, which is the movement that we just did before. Then we're going to jump away wide, and we're going to land with our feet parallel close together. So when you're ready, we're going to jump away close and land wide. Jump away wide and land close. And jump away, land wide, jump away, land close. Beautiful. Good combination work here. We're checking our coordination, which is one of the 6 principles of Pilates. We're still thinking about using our inner thighs to help us go out and in, keeping that connection to the pelvic floor. And we're still using our core to keep us suspended in the air. Good. We've got wide and in. We've got 2 more. We've got wide, land in. Look at that beautiful articulation that Mel's doing with her feet. And we're going to go wide and land in and relax. Beautiful. How are we all feeling? I hope we're feeling good. Let's do a bit of abdominal work after we've just done that jumping. So we're going to make a spring change, and we're going to take our 2 reds off and put 1 green on, and we're going to put our hands into our straps. So I'll make the spring change for Mel here, and I'll get Mel to put her hand into the smaller of the 2 straps on the Align-Pilates C2 PRO wood look. Our legs are going to start up into tabletop to begin with. Good, and our hands are straight up in the air. What we're going to do now is we're going to curl up and bring our hands down by our side and extend our legs straight up into the ceiling for double leg lowers. From here, holding this position, we're going to lower the legs down, and then big breath out and bring them back up. Good. And then lower them down, in breath, and then back up. Good. And down. So really think about pulling through the core. Don't forget the pelvic floor. Squeeze the legs together. Get those inner thighs to help you with this connection. Last one. All the way up, legs back into tabletop, arms are up, and have a rest. You can pop your feet against the board if you wanted to have a bit of a break. Beautiful. From here, we're just going to go into curl-ups. So our legs are going to be into tabletop. Beautiful. Arms are straight up in the air, and when we're ready, we're going to curl up, bringing our head, neck and shoulders off the reformer bed, and then lay all the way back down again. And then we're going to curl up and go all the way back down. We're going to think about that rib-hip connection as we curl up. So imagine our ribs are sliding down toward our hip bones as we curl up. Really pull through the abdominals so that we are making them connect into the bed as much as we can. For 1 more, curl all the way up, beautiful, and lay back down. Pop your feet back on the board and have a rest. Our last abdominal one is going to be coordination. So our hands are going to be tucked into our sides, with our elbows close to our rib cage. Our legs are going to start into tabletop. Beautiful. From here, we're going to tricep press into the carriage bed as we curl our head, neck and shoulders up off the ground. From here, we're going to extend both legs away from us. Then we're going to do a quick open and close of the legs, bend the knees back in, and bring the hands back up together. Lovely, Mel. Let's go again. Curl up and extend the legs. Open, close the legs. Bring them back in and lay back down. Lovely. Keep going. Extend. As we're extending, think about using those inner thighs to open and close. It's a quick movement, so we want those inner thighs to really work hard as we open and close the legs. Beautiful. Good. And we're going to curl up, and as we're curling up, think about pressing the hands and reaching the fingertips forward on the carriage bed so that we are working hard to get those abdominals to work too. Lovely. Last one here, Mel. And hands back down, feet out on the board, and have a rest. So now that we've finished that abdominal series, let's get back to some jumping. So I'll get Mel to hang those straps up for me. And we're going to go back to our 2 red springs, taking that green spring off. Beautiful. So from here, we're going to go to running man. So we're going to have 1 leg in the tabletop to start with, and we're going to push away with the single leg, but then land with the leg that's in tabletop. So when you're ready, you're going to push and swap. Push and swap. Beautiful. Push and swap. So we keep that 1 leg that's suspended in tabletop as we jump away. Thinking about the foot that's landing, we're thinking about that articulation of the foot. So the toes to the ball of the foot, down to the heel. Lovely, Mel. Again, remember that while we're suspended, we're thinking about pulling our core in for our last one. and come into rest. Beautiful. From here, we're going to go to a workout called Slalom. So one foot is going to be above you on the board and the other foot is going to be below you on the board. And as you jump away, you're going to swap the orientation of the feet on the board. So when you're ready, Mel, jump and swap. Jump and swap. So really think about making sure that one is above your foot and the other one is below, trying to get as much length on the board as you possibly can. Good. So as we're swapping, we're thinking about the landing again of the feet, and we're also thinking about making sure that we are using those knees to get some great spring off from the board. Doing very well, Mel. And we've got one more to go. And come into rest. Beautiful. Our next one is the Ballet Flutter. So we're going to start with our feet in our Pilates V with our heels together and our toes out wide. So from here we're going to jump away in that orientation and then we're going to flutter our legs one on top of the other like you're a ballerina in the air. So when you're ready, Mel, jump away and crisscross, good. And out, crisscross, good. And out, crisscross, good. This is a really good one for the inner thighs. We're really making those inner thighs work as we try to bring one foot on top of the other in the other way, but suspended in the air on a very heavy spring. So you can see that Mel's really working hard to try to get both those inner thighs to go. We've got one more to go. And relax. So now I thought we'd spice it up and we're going to do all of those three that we just did in combination together. So it's going to be the running man starting first, followed by the slalom, followed by the butterfly, and then we're going to finish. We're going to do 10 of each. So Mel, are you ready? Let's start with running man. One leg in tabletop and push away. Good. That's great. So remembering that we've got the one leg coming up into tabletop with each one that we go with. Good. So you're working hard as you're pressing away. Don't forget about the connection with the abdominals. Keep pulling them in as you go away. I'm counting you in. We've got 3. Good. You've got 2. We're going to make a change next to the slalom. Last 1. Good, and come back in with both feet and change and push away and swap. Good, and go and swap. Lovely, Mel. Good combination. Again, remember this one, we're thinking about the articulation of the foot. Our core is still on. We're working hard. Nice. We're going to count you in for the change. We've got 3, 2, 1. We're going to go into our Pilates V on our next land and push away and flutter. Good. Right, I can see Mel's breathing hard here, so you must be as well. Good. Don't forget to breathe. Keep taking a big breath out as you push away. Use it on the exertion. Keep the inner thighs working. I know they're burning, but you're doing great, Mel. Keep going. Good. We've got 2. Last 1. And have a rest. Great job. Let's do some legs in straps just to stretch ourselves out after that big sequence. So we're going to make a spring change and we're going to go to 1 green. And we're going to get Mel to grab onto the big straps and put her feet into the big loops. So we're pressing out and putting our feet into the big loops. Beautiful. And from here, we're going to start with double leg lower. So our hands are going to be by our side, our core is switched on, and we're just lowering both the legs down together parallel and then taking them back up. Probably no more than about a 45-degree angle for you. So we should be feeling this through the inner thigh. Again, we're concentrating on keeping those legs together, pulling up through the inner thighs, connecting to the pelvic floor and getting that connection to our core. Beautiful. You can see that Mel's shoulders are lovely and relaxed here as she's coming down and back up. We've got one more like this. And we come to the top and we're going to hold. We're going to go into leg circles. So we're going to just take our legs out, down and around. Good, and then back to the top. Beautiful. So this control of the circle, we're trying to keep our pelvis as still as we possibly can as we're taking our legs out, down and around, okay? We don't want our pelvis to be wobbling around on the board, and you don't want your tailbone to be lifting up as you come to the very top. You can see that Mel's tailbone is stuck firmly on the carriage bed as she makes her circles. Last one in this direction. And to the top, and now we're going to go the other way. So we're going to come down parallel first, take the legs out and around and all the way to the top. So we're coming down through the middle, out to the side and up to the top. So you can see the control that is required here, especially as we're bringing them up to the top, using those inner thighs again, they're a very important muscle, those ones, to get all the way to the top. Mel's pulling her core in to really help stabilize her hips as she brings them out and around where we've got the most movement away from the body center. We've got last one in this direction. Beautiful, and we're going to hold at the top. We're now going to go into frog, so I'm going to get Mel to lower her legs to about a 45-degree angle, and again we're going to take our feet into that turnout position in that Pilates V. Keeping our heels tight together, we're going to bend our knees back towards ourselves. Try to keep the knees over the hips as we do so. So press away, press forward. Coming back. Good, and press forward. Lovely. You can see that Mel's really working hard to press those heels together like she was doing on the jump board before, to make sure that she's getting that connection all the way up to the inner thigh, pulling through the pelvic floor and using her exhale breath to get her core to connect as she goes. We're going to do 2 more. Well done, Mel, you're doing great. Last one. Good, and then we're going to come in, bend our knees together, and we can take our feet out of those straps and get ready to go back into our next jumping sequence. Beautiful. We're going to make a spring change, and we're going to go with 1 red for this one. So the reason why we've gone for 1 red as opposed to the others is we need a lot of hang time with this sequence so that we can be able to execute the movements correctly. So this is a bit more of an abdominal sequence that we're going to go through now. So what I'm going to get you to do is put your hands behind your head for me, Mel, and we're going to curl up. So you want to come away from the shoulder pads a bit so you've got a bit of room for your shoulders. So in this curl up position, we're going to have 1 leg in tabletop. Beautiful, and we're going to jump away and do our running man that we were doing before, but we're doing this in a curl up position. So this is going to bring more of the focus, a bit more centered right into our core. The curl up position means that we're bringing that rib cage towards the hip, and now we're introducing the opposite legs as we're going into tabletop. Beautiful, we've got 3 more. Great job, Mel. Last one, and relax. Pop your head down. It's going to be a long sequence. Okay, the next one is going to be our scissors kicks. So again, we're going to curl up. I'll get you to curl up, Mel, and 1 leg is going to go straight up to the ceiling for me. I'm going to get Mel to grab the back of her calf muscle here so that we can execute it. So what's going to happen is we're going to jump away with this leg, but we're going to release this one so this leg can land, and she'll grab behind the calf of the leg that we've jumped away from. So when you're ready, jump and swap. Beautiful. Jump and swap. You're using the leg that you're grabbing onto to help you keep you in your curled up position. You want to keep stretching out through the legs though, both this one and the one that's jumping, so that you get that 2-way stretch in the body that we always like to talk about here at Align Pilates. Beautiful, Mel. We've got 1 more on each leg. And come into rest. Lovely. We're now going to go into the double leg stretch. So both legs are going to jump away. Mel's going to curl up for me. Okay, so she's going to grab onto her legs to start with. As she jumps away, her hands are going to circle around and reach forward, reaching for her knees like she's doing the double leg stretch in the mat work series. So when you're ready, jump away and circle the arms. Beautiful, and back to the beginning. Lovely. So with this one, you want to try and make sure that the legs land together at the same time onto the board. You really want to stretch out with the arms and really think about curling up with each time you come back to the start. So try not to lay back down onto the bed as you go. Good. As you're suspending the legs, think about your inner thighs working so that they are keeping you suspended in the air. We've got our last one, and have a rest. Well done, Mel. That was a pretty tough ab workout. We're now going to work on our external rotators and our butt. So I'll get you to roll onto your side for me. If you don't have one, you probably need to get some sort of support for your head. Mel's using our Align head, neck and support pillow to cushion her head on the side. If you don't have one of those, just roll up a towel and that will work the same way. We're still going to stay on 1 red spring for this sequence, and we're going to start with our top leg doing the jumping. So the top leg's going to be on the board and our bottom leg is tucked underneath us and won't touch the board in this first sequence. Mel's body is perfectly in line here with our hips stacked on top of each other and our shoulders are stacked one on top of each other as well. So from here, keeping our foot parallel in this orientation, we're just going to jump away. Beautiful. You can see as Mel's jumping here, she's still thinking about that articulation of the foot as it lands on the board. So she's starting with her toes to the ball of the foot and then down to the heel, articulating that foot. Even though she's laying on her side, she's still pulling in through her core to help keep her suspended in this position. Last one, Mel. Great, and come in to have a rest. Beautiful. We're now going to get her to turn her foot up for me so that her knee is going to track up a bit higher and her foot is almost perpendicular to the last position that it was in. From here, we're going to push away and land with our foot in that orientation. So this sort of works a bit more on the outer region of the glute area. But again, as we're pushing out and we're suspended, we are pulling through our core to make sure that we are supported while we're still laying on our side. We've got 3 more, 2, last one, come back in and have a rest. Doing well, Mel. The next one, we're going to take this top leg and we're going to extend it straight above the board, and our bottom leg is now going to be reaching and doing the jumping for us in this sequence. Okay, again, you can notice Mel's hips and shoulders are stacked one on top of the other. This leg's going to be suspended, and when we're ready, we're going to jump away with the bottom leg. Good. Now we're thinking about the bottom leg doing that foot articulation, and this suspended one, you've got to reach long with this top leg. You can see that Mel's really reaching long, and this helps to really switch on those butt muscles for her on this particular top leg here. So she should be feeling the work there. We've got 2 more. Last one. Beautiful, and come into rest. Whew, I can tell that she's burning there. Last one is we're going to call seal claps. So our top leg is still extended above the board. The bottom leg is still going to be doing the jumping like we were before. But this time, while we're suspended in mid-air away from the jump board, we're going to bring our feet together, make them touch, and then separate them again before we land on the board. When you're ready, Mel, jump away and touch. Good, and jump away and touch. So now this top leg isn't still anymore. We want it to be working as it's in this external rotation that she's doing here. So she's really pulling through the core to keep her hips stable as she's working this top leg together. We've got 3 more. 3 and 2. Last one. And we're done. Well done, Mel. Right, we've really worked that side. So let's roll over and try the other side. So again, you'll see that Mel's going to set herself up. She's going to have her shoulders stacked one on top of the other and her hips are stacked one on top of the other. So from here, the bottom leg's going to be curled underneath her and the top leg's going to be parallel and jumping away. So when you're ready, and go. Good. So you can see that she again has pulling in through her core, so now she's working hard on the other side of the body. She's extending this leg as she reaches away, and 3 and 2, last one, and come into rest. We're going to take this top leg, we're going to turn it up, so turn the heel so it's perpendicular to the orientation that we were just in before, and from here we're going to jump away. So again, this is working that finer muscles on the outside of the butt here as we're pushing away. We're still pulling in through our core. Don't forget about that. It's really important to keep that switched on even though we're laying on our side. And we've got 3 and 2, last one, and come into rest. The top leg now is going to be extended above the board. Our bottom leg is going to be on the board and it's going to do the jumping. When you're ready, Mel, jump away. Good. You can probably see that Mel's top leg is really working hard just to maintain that stability for her there. Okay, so the bottom leg is doing the pushing out and the bringing of the carriage back in, but this top leg is the one that you should really be feeling all the work in. We've got 3 more. 3 and 2, last one, and come in to have a rest. Beautiful. Our last one are our seal claps. Remember, we're going to jump away with the bottom leg and mid-air they're going to meet, feet are going to meet, and then they're going to separate. When you're ready, Mel, jump away and meet. Lovely. So again, you can see that this top leg is still stretched. So we've got the 2-way stretch. She's reaching out through the toes there and she's pulling up through her core in the other direction to give her as much length as she possibly can. Her outer external rotators are working hard as she's got 2 more to go. Last one, and come in to have a rest. Let's do a stretch on both of those sides. So I'll get you to roll off to this side here for me, Mel, and we'll do a pigeon stretch to stretch out those glutes which have worked really hard in that sequence. So you'll just see that Mel has bent her knee onto the reformer and she's hanging the other one straight out back behind her, and she's just come down on her elbows just to intensify that stretch. If you want to go more, you can drop your hands down to the floor and that will get in there just that little bit more deeper if that's what you require. How's that feeling, Mel?
Good.
Good? So when you're ready on that side, bring yourself back up safely, and then we're going to swap over to the other side. So you're going to bend the other leg onto the reformer carriage, straighten the back leg out behind you, come down as far as your body will allow. It can just be arms in the air, you can go down onto your elbows, or you can take your arms all the way down to the floor and feel that stretch on that side as well. Which side's better?
The first one. Not this one.
Not that one? Beautiful. From here, we're going to come back up and we're going to go into a 4-point kneeling series. So I'll get Mel to kneel on the reformer, and she's going to put her hands on either side of the shoulder pads. She's got her knees directly underneath her hips and her wrists are completely underneath her shoulders. We're just going to start with a little stretch first called thread the needle. So I'm going to get Mel to take one of her hands and she's going to thread it underneath the opposite arm and really rotate through the torso as she stretches out. The lower that you drop the head, the more rotation you'll be able to get. And you're seeing that she's pushing through here from this shoulder blade to allow this part of the rib cage to rotate around and stretch through the side of the body. I'll get you to come back and go on to the other side. You can hold that for about 10 or 20 seconds just to feel that stretch in the back, because we have been laying down and doing quite a lot of jumping before. Is that feeling okay, Mel?
That's good.
You can see that Mel is rotated on this side, and the more she keeps reaching those fingertips forward on that side, the more stretch she's going to get on that particular side. When you're ready, I'll get you to come back. We're going to stay on our one red spring that we were using before on our side lying series, and I'm going to get Mel to put one foot up against the shoulder board, and she's just going to position her leg that's supporting her so that she's not rotated in the hips at all and that she feels comfortable. So whatever works for you here. So from here, we're just going to push out, keeping our foot connected to the board just to stretch out that leg and bring it back in. You can notice that Mel is still pulling through her abdominals here so that her back remains flat at all times. There's no arching in our back. You can notice that she's reaching through the top of her head towards the opposite side of the reformer to help get a two-way stretch from the bottom of the foot here all the way through the torso and out through the head. We've got one more on this side like this. We're going to bring in a bit of a balance challenge now. So as Mel continues to push out with that one leg, she's going to bring her opposite arm and reach it forward. Beautiful. Then bring the arm back down, bend the knee and take the reformer all the way back in. We're going to press out and then take the arm forward. Really pull through the core, maintain your balance. Lovely, Mel. And come back and bend it all the way back in. Two more like that. Take it out. Extend the arm. Beautiful. Bring it back and come back in. Last one. And extend, come back in and back. Now, just to make it one more challenging, we're going to try to push out and reach the arm in the push out as we go away. So we're going to push and reach simultaneously. Great, Mel. Perfect. And we're going to push and reach simultaneously. Lovely. You can see that Mel's really working hard with this leg here as she reaches and extending the body, cross-slinging on both ways. She's pulling through her abs to make sure that she's not going into her lower back for her last one. Lovely, Mel, and come all the way back in. We're going to swap sides. So she's going to put that one down and that's going to be her stabilizer. The other foot's going to be onto the reformer board. And we're just going to push out, maintaining connection with the board and back in. So you want to make sure that your hips aren't rotated and that they are level with you as you are pushing out and pushing all the way back in. Again, she's pushing through this foot, extending through the leg, through the hip, out the top of her head to the other end of the reformer. Last one, Mel. Good. We're going to bring our balance element in now. So she's going to push out first, then she's going to raise the arm. Beautiful. Come all the way back in and then bend the knee to bring it back. So we're going to push out first, hold, extend the arm, bring the arm back and then bend and come all the way back in. We've got two more just like that. Press out, extend the arm, bring it back and back in. You can see Mel's really working hard, pulling through that core to maintain her stability while she's trying to make her balance work here. Lovely, Mel. Have a rest. We're now going to go to the extension of the arm at the same time as the leg extends as well. So when you're ready, we're going to push away and extend. Lovely. And bring it back in. And push out, extend, and back in. We've got 2 more just like that. And the last one. And come back in. Beautiful. I'll get Mel to come back into a child's pose just to give her a bit of a stretch after that sequence. So we're coming down, laying down, putting the body out, reach the arms on the edge of the reformer. You can really feel a lovely stretch along your back as reach the fingertips on the outside of the frame. Beautiful. When you're ready, I'll get Mel to come back up. Our last one in the 4-point kneeling is actually going to do some jumping in this reverse position. So there's 2 options depending on your body. You can be all the way up like Mel is on her hands and shoulders, or if not, you can come down onto your elbows. If I could just get you to show them the position. Beautiful. And that way you'll be able to jump in that orientation. Just takes the pressure off your wrists if that's your preference. Mel's going to do it with her full extension up on her wrists. One leg is up against the jump board. And all we're going to do from here is we're just going to jump away. So when you're ready, you want some bit of air between you and the board. Lovely. Again, you're thinking as you push away that you want full extension of that leg as you push away. So really think long, length in the body is what we're thinking about when we're doing this one. And we've got 3 and 2, last one, and come back in. We're going to swap over to the other side. When you're ready, and we're going to jump away. Good. You can see that Mel is really thinking about stretching out through that toe as she leaps away from the board. Her head is straight ahead. She's not dropping her head down. There's no arching in her back as she pulls through the abdominals throughout the sequence. We've got 3 and 2, last one, and come into rest. Wow, I hope you felt that in your butt after that sequence. So now we're going to do a bit of scooter series. So when you're ready, Mel, I'll get you to hop off the reformer. So we're going to kneel on the reformer first, grabbing onto the jump board for safety, and then still holding onto the jump board, we're going to stand on the reformer bed. Be careful, it can be moving. From here, we're going to take one foot and put it on the frame of the reformer, and we want to put it so that we can get our knee to bend forward and touch into the board. The other leg is going to be directly behind it, about a third to halfway down the middle of the carriage. From here, holding onto the board, we're just going to press back with the one leg that is on the carriage. Beautiful. So this is the scooter sequence, and again we're targeting the butt muscles. We're going for the bit more global ones here in this position. So you can see here that Mel is pushing back. She's fully extending the leg and she's squeezing into that butt as she's doing so. We've got 3 and 2 and 1. We're going to press back on the next one and go into pulses. So she's just going to do little ins, little outs. Beautiful, Mel. Just a slight bend in the knee and she pulses away. Good. You can see the muscles working here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it all the way back in. I'll get you to stand back onto... No, you're not. We're going to stay there. For a bit more of a challenge, we're going to go for our balance now. So I'm going to get Mel to keep pushing that knee into the board and take her hands off the board and bring them straight out in front of her. From here, we'll start with the scooters first. So we're pressing out and in. Good. And you can see Mel is really working hard to squeeze the butt with each one. Balance is going to be the big issue here, so make sure you're pushing that knee into the board to help you maintain your balance. Pull through the core as you do so for 3 and 2. On the last one, we're going to hold back and pulse, and in and out. Good. Nice, Mel. Working hard. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back in. We're going to grab onto the board, stand onto the reformer bed, still holding the board. We'll do the other side. So that leg that was just working is going to go onto the frame, and we're going to bend the knee up against the board, and the other other leg's going to be behind her, about a third to halfway down the carriage bed, depending on your leg length. From here, holding onto the board, we're just going to press out in our scooters, and we're pressing all the way back, thinking about lengthening through the leg, squeezing into the butt as we do so. Milla's also got her core switched on, so she's pulling through the belly as she does this exercise. We've got 3 and 2. Last one, hold back for pulses, and we're in and out, and in and out. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it all the way back in. Remember, now we're going to go for our balance element. So hands are going to be up. We're going to push that knee straight into the board as we push back into our scooters. Really think about pulling in through the core as you're doing this one. You really need to be stable in there to be able to execute this one. If you can't, make sure that you're hanging onto the board to do the next round. And we've got 3 and 2. Last one, hold it back for our pulses. Remember, we're quick in and out. Keep pressing into the board with that knee to stabilize you. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come all the way in. Grab onto the board for safety, come back onto the reformer bed. I'll get you to kneel down for me and Mel onto the reformer bed. I'll just get you to swing around now, and we've just been working so hard. I haven't, Mel has, she's been working hard. And we're going to go into a 4-point kneeling, and we're going to finish off with our cat stretches and our cat curls, just to stretch out through the back there. So from here, I'll get Mel to arch up through the middle back. As she does so, she's going to really push through this thoracic spine here and really pull up through the abdominal so she stretches and opens out the back. We're now going to reverse that by dropping down through the lower back and giving ourselves a big arch, bringing our head back, thinking about our tailbone connecting to the top of our head. Beautiful. And when you're ready, we're going to go back into the cat curl. Really reach up. You can see this beautiful stretch and position here that Mel has in her back. And then come all the way back down. Lovely. And we've got one more in each direction. And up. Good. And come all the way back down. Beautiful. We're just going to finish with the hip flexor stretch on each side. So I'll get Mel to step off to the side of the reformer for me. We're going to do this stretch on one blue. Mel's going to grab onto the board and put one foot up against the shoulder pads. The other one's going to be on the floor in line with where the foot is of the reformer. So I'll get you to bring it forward about here. She's going to lunge back in this position. So she's going to bend that front leg. Good. And I'll just get you to come forward so your knee stays over your ankle on the bent leg, and you really feel it in this leg that should be here onto the reformer. And when you're ready, come all the way back in. Good. And we'll just do one more on that side. So we're going to press back, kneel over the ankle, really pushing back. This heel here can push back into this shoulder pad to really get that extra length and stretch into the hip flexor. Beautiful. Come all the way back in. I'll get you to go around to the other side for me, Mel, and we'll do 2 on that side as well, just to make sure that we have covered all our bases. When you're ready, press all the way back. Lovely. And come all the way back in. And last one on this side, press all the way back. And come all the way back in. Beautiful. I hope that you've enjoyed the cardio workout today here with Align-Pilates. We will hope to see you again in the next video.